parents have no real understanding of the protocol of the church. They have no understanding of the concept of the gospel. They have not been exposed to the Judeo-Christian moral ethic for living. So these young people, they have no historical memory. They have no roots. They have absolutely nothing to pull it from. Now, some of you, your grandparents were godly folk. They were on the mourner's bench, crying crocodile tears, crying out to the Lord. You were conceived with somebody praying for you. They prayed over you all of your life, and your mother or father or both were in the church, and you have known the right way all your life, and you've always known right from wrong. I tell people often, one of the things I can say in my life, there's never been a day in my life that I can consciously remember that I did not know right from wrong. I may have not always choose to do right, but I was without excuse. My grandmother and my mother, they clearly and succinctly taught me right from wrong, and they're always connected some kind of way with the Bible that they may not have known. But they know it was in there somewhere. Okay, somewhere was in there. You shouldn't be stealing. You shouldn't be lying. Somewhere in there you shouldn't be taking other people's stuff. Somewhere in there you should be respecting people who are older than you and treat other people with dignity and respect. They ain't quoted no Bible verse, but they say it's in the Bible somewhere. Now I understood, and I was smart enough to understand I ought to listen to what they were saying. So there was a historical memory that was always there that linked me and you to transcendent truth that anchored us in the reality of the real world. And so we didn't go but so far. If we did go so far, we knew we were getting close to a danger point. You got a generation today, they have no spiritual balance. They have no moral framework. They have no benchmark. They have no connection with the truth. Nobody's even told them anything about the Bible. As a matter of fact, they may know the book exists, but some of them may have never had one in their hand or had anyone ever to read from it to them. That's the challenge, you see, we have. And that's the slice of life that we have got to understand we're dealing with. Now, when I preach like this, I look at some of y'all, and y'all say, why is he talking about that stuff? I'm going to make it plain and simple this morning, okay? I'm going to make it plain and simple, and you'll understand why. Number one, because Genoa Walton lives on Rebecca Street. That's right in the Orchard Manor. That's right in the Rebecca LePage Terrace. Number one. Number two, Mother Tolliver lives right down here, I believe it's Hall Street. Hall Street, Mother Tolliver. Tom Tolliver lives on Hall Street. Mona Robinson lives on Hall Street. Number two. Number three, if memory serves me correctly, Keith Tyler, Kathy Tyler, Kiara Tyler lives on Hall Street. Number four, if memory serves me correctly, I believe that Greg Shaver, Christy Shaver, Maxwell Shaver, and Quincy Shaver live somewhere right there about on Grant Street. And I believe that Keith Tyler got another sister to live on the other side of Grant Street. And I believe that Kenny Hale lives somewhere on Glenwood. Crystal lives somewhere on Grant Street. I know where y'all live. John Mitchell lives on Main Street. My son and my daughter live on 2nd Avenue. Donna Burks lives on 1st Avenue, him and his wife, and his mother lives on 1st Avenue. Now, the reason I know where you live, because I walk past your house praying for safety on your house. Because it's more dangerous in this neighborhood than what you realize. Ryan Smith and his wife and their 2 children live on 2nd Avenue. This is your neighborhood. This neighborhood is the neighborhood where many of our parishioners live. Lionel Shinnery and Avena Shinnery and their daughter, they live on 4th Avenue. Our people are all in this neighborhood, in this community. Kenny Hale and his wife on the front porch saw the murder take place. It can't get no closer than that. Their nephew was killed just a few feet away. This has become ground zero. Now, I've been saying it for years, and people think I'm just talking. Because I'm in this neighborhood in the morning, during the midday, in the afternoon, and sometime at night, just riding down through the neighborhood and to see what do I see. And I'm often amazed at what I see. This is ground zero. This is where life is going to make up its mind for many of the children that are in this neighborhood, and there are kids all over this neighborhood. I believe Thurman and Strada and Stacy, they live somewhere around Monongahela. Is that the street y'all live on, or Delaware? Which one y'all live on, Thurman? Berkeley. Y'all live on Berkeley. That's near Monongahela, right? And Delaware runs the other way. And where y'all live over there now? Y'all live on Maryland Street? Randolph Street. Yeah, we just moved y'all in, so I know where y'all live. This is our community. This is where our people are. And how many else live on the west side? I didn't call your name. Who else live on the west side? Everybody live on the west side, raise your hand. That's why we're fighting for this neighborhood. And that's why we have to be concerned when children are being shot down on the street. We have to be concerned when the schools are rated as being not performing well. We have to be concerned when there's such high unemployment. We have to be concerned because this is the neighborhood where many of our church members live, and their children and their grandchildren, and it's also populated with a lot of other children who may not be connected to this church. Am I making sense? I've been working with Greg Shaver. We have been studying this neighborhood. We've tried to find every single fact, every single statistic through the census data, the census tracts, how many children below 5, how many children 5, how many children 5 to 11, how many children, all age, to know the whole lay of this land. Because if the Lord is willing, if God is willing, I'm going to give the next 16 years of my life just to this neighborhood. That's it. The greater west side, from Elk River to the North Charleston sign, where it's in the city of Dunbar, from the Kenora Boulevard to the west side here, 17,334 people live in that footprint right there. And when you look at the pathology, according to the Gallup Survey Index of Wellness, they did this huge study, the Gallup poll, one of the most respected researchers in the country. They said that Charleston, Huntington, first of all, West Virginia is the most unhealthy state in which to live. Charleston, Huntington, the most unhealthy cities in the United States of America. If that be the case, then the west side of Charleston, census tract 7 and 8, where most of y'all live, 7 is from Patrick Street to Park Avenue, and 8 is from Park Avenue to Elk River. That's where y'all live. If that be the case, that is the most unhealthy city, or one of the most unhealthy neighborhoods in the entire United States of America to live. That's why we've got a passion about trying to make a difference in this neighborhood and trying to make a difference in this community. The unemployment rate is over 70% for young males ages 16 to 30 in that footprint. So that's why we're passionate about this. Someone wrote in the paper, and I know I don't read this stuff, but I read this, the stuff online. Crazy people write online, see, because they can do it confidential, don't put their name online, that type of thing. So someone wrote in the paper, the reason all these black kids are getting killed, they say it's the black leadership's problem, and it's the black leadership's fault. Did you hear that, Reverend Matthew Watts and David Freisen? They hate us. They hate us because we deserve to have our own opinion. And we dare to disagree with some of the nonsense that they spew out there. We're not afraid or ashamed to say it out loud in public and then to put it down in writing. And I spoke at the vigil. Here's what I said. I said, I agree with them. I agree. They're right. I have failed. I have failed in being able to convince enough men that they need to unite with me in this endeavor that it's our responsibility to try to save our boys. And we cannot leave the raising and rearing of boys in the community to the women alone. And I failed in being able to convince enough people to join me in doing that. I failed in being able to win enough young people to a vision of spiritual excellence, moral excellence, academic excellence, intellectual excellence. I failed in being able to convince them to do that. I failed in being able to convince the people who run this city that we need to invest more resources in this community. On the west side, 4 blocks from Stockton to Hunt Avenue, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, in that 4-block area, there are over 40 abandoned, empty houses in that neighborhood. And no one has attempted to do anything to rectify the problem. I failed. So yes, I have failed, and I will admit to my failure, but I don't think that I'm alone. I think that we've kind of all failed royally together.